Hey all, and welcome back to the Crown Tundra. We dealt with the Titans last time. Now it's time to deal with the birds, Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno. But I think we're going to need a few more Ultra Balls before we head off, because they may not be Reggie-tier resilient, but they're still pretty low in the catch rate, all things considered.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that you do the same thing I do, where you make sure you have a round number of each item when you're buying it.
It just feels good, alright, to have 50 of a Pokeball.
It does. Like, usually I tend to go way more paranoid overstocking. Like, I think I usually have about 200 sitting in my bag just in case, but...
Jesus.
Like, you never know when a Reggie's gonna give you some shit, alright?
That's true. I'm sure I've had legendary encounters in previous games that have gone upwards of 50 Pokeballs, so...
It can happen. It absolutely can happen. Particularly in... like with the Reggies and the other legendaries, I believe that the birds also have a catch rate of 3, so they can give you some shit as well. So that's something to bear in mind. It's better to be overstocked than understocked, and timables can also be your friend.
Ah, yes.
Yes, although I think... So, in the Crown Tundra, there are two specific Pokemon... Well, two specific legendaries that are a little bit more of a challenge, shall we say, in that you are unlikely to have the fight last forever, purely because if you don't kill the Pokemon, the weather is going to.
Yep.
And in one instance of that, it seems a bit ridiculous considering the Pokemon. In the other, it makes sense in terms of the typing, but it's still an absolute ball ache, and that was easily my least favourite of the sword trio to catch.
Well, what you've got to do there, if it is giving you too much grief, is just bring a Pokemon that either has an ability that causes weather that doesn't hurt, like Drought or Drizzle, or just have a Pokemon that knows the move to do that, and then it's like that's not a problem anymore. Like, it is kind of irritating that does just sometimes happen with where they spawn, but you know, you got to think smart with that kind of thing.
Oh, you cheeky fucker.
Oh, this thing seems to be oddly difficult to catch. Like, maybe it was just me and you getting bad luck with it, but given it was basically the Unova equivalent to Magikarp, it feels a bit excessive in that respect.
Yeah, maybe just a little smidge. Stop using Thrash on me, sir.
You'll only end up hurting yourself.
Alright, now we will throw a Pokeball again, and we'll see what happens.
Are you going to be using this Pokemon on your team, Tom?
Fuck no, but it's in my way, so I might as well catch it.
Yeah, we will condemn you to the box for eternity, because fuck you.
Oh, you better hit yourself, I swear to God. God damn it. This is a violent little Basculin.
Well, they are just naturally aggressive Pokemon, aren't they? They kind of like seem to be a Magikarp with Gyarados temperament.
I mean, they're effectively like piranhas, really.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's what they're going for, and they also have different colours depending on their gender, which kind of... That was a thing they brought in Gen 4, but I feel like Gen 5 kind of had that going on as well, because you also had Jellicent Slime that did a similar kind of thing as well.
Yes.
I do kind of find it a shame in the fact that Gen 4 was originally going to have a lot more noticeable distinctions between the genders, and then before it came out they sort of scaled that back a bit, so it was more minor things.
Right.
The one that I think was cool is the fact that originally in Gen 4's development, Charizard, female Charizard, were going to have one horn instead of two.
Huh.
Which I think would have been kind of a cool distinction going on, and that also is quite reminiscent of a bit of very early concept art for Charizard. Like, there was I think it was a Sugimori picture where it was an early design of Charizard with red on his back, and it just had the one big horn in the middle.
Okay.
I like Charizard a lot. I don't know if it's obvious.
No, never could have guessed. But also, I totally agree. I also love Charizard. But what I was going to say is that it is really disappointing that they didn't go through with having as many gender differences as they were going to, because a lot of them were really cool. Even if not all of the designs were impeccable, just the fact of having it there was it was a really cool idea and would have really differentiated and made each of the Pokemon a bit more personal to whoever caught it. So it's just a shame that it didn't pan out. But either way, this cutscene's pretty awesome.
It is, and I want a lot more of this sort of cutscene going forward if they're going to make the games more story-focused.
This is a great way of introducing the legendaries, because even though it's a very short cutscene and like it really doesn't have much going on, it's enough for you to get a feel for all three of these Pokemon's personalities. Which is great, and it also does help the fact that I fucking love these Pokemon designs. They are fantastic. Especially Zapdos. I love that he can't fly, and that is so funny to me, the fact that he just runs around while the other two have the advantage of the air.
Dude, that is one thick-ass bird right there.
I didn't know you were into that, but okay.
That was the professor calling me up to say stop being so fucking horny. Yeah, then we're out this bitch. See ya. I'm just gonna go up to the mountain. I ain't going to other regions. Fuck off.
He's the lazy one. I like how like Zapdos got so far up just on its legs though.
Yeah. Alright, Peony, this better be fucking important. I swear, if he rings us up and says, have you caught the birds yet? We never do actually get to taste the fruit of the tree, which I figured would be something you could use to, I don't know, power up your Pokemon a little bit or something. I think it was rumoured that it would be like the way to get the hidden ability guaranteed for your Pokemon, but that's a thing you can do via Dynamax adventures.
Yeah, you can get the... I forget which one's which. There's the ability patch and the ability capsule. I think the capsule is the one that swaps between the two main abilities, and I think the patch is the one that gives it its hidden ability.
Man, I need to go do some more adventures to get, what is it, Libero for my Cinderace.
Oh, that is fucking OP. Like, what that does is it changes the Cinderace's type to whatever type move it uses, like whatever type of the move it's using. So it basically gets stabbed for everything.
That's amazing.
I like how sloppy that drawing of the tree was from him. Like, the other one's like, he was pretty spot on with like the Reggie temples and that. He had the patterns down, but for the tree, it looked like a oversized ice cream cone.
It's like, did Peonia draw these? It's like, no, why'd you ask?
I do like the idea. Like, he mentioned when we started on this legendary adventure that he'd been watching stuff on the telly about it, and I like to imagine that he's just there with his sketchbook drawing all the stuff he sees on telly that looks cool.
It's the fact they're in crayons, that's what gets me the most.
Basically, yeah. Although, like, drawings of anything in crayons fucking hilarious when it's coming from an adult.
Oh, Jesus. Alright. Articuno G, as we shall call him, is roughly around here, and we're going to have to play a little bit of a game in order to get him to recognise our badass attitude. See, there he is.
Yeah, what you can do is, if he doesn't spawn right away, if you just keep on flying to the same location over and over, eventually you will just see him above your head and you can follow him there.
Alright, you got to pick the correct one here, otherwise he's just going to fly off again.
And he will go to different places throughout the Crown Tundra if you miss him the first time round, which is a pain, but hey, it is what it is. Now, it is Galarian Articuno who is the bird who is your most risky capture, I suppose, because, you know, despite original Articuno being an ice type and therefore not being affected by hail, Galarian Articuno is affected by hail, so unless you clear up this hail, it is going to kill it eventually.
Psychic Flying. Pretty interesting combo, same as Lugia, I believe. I think Natu and Xatu share that thing, or are they like flying and psychic? I'm not sure.
I believe they're both psychic flying, so, you know, it's not that it makes any difference, but we have to have that distinction anyway. Lugia's a weird one though, because he's been portrayed as both psychic and flying in the games and whatnot, in the TCG he's been psychic in some situations, colourless in some situations, and in the Heart Gold and Soul Silver sets, for some reason they made him water type.
Well, that makes sense, because you find him in the Whirl Islands.
Yeah, I know, but the way the TCG grouping works is that psychic Pokemon and flying Pokemon are usually shown as either psychic or colourless, whereas water Pokemon usually only groups together water and ice types, and they normally need some mechanic to represent them otherwise. It feels like they were just doing it to be a direct parallel to Harrow in that situation.
Yeah, probably. Now, one of the things that is really, really fun with the Galarian birds is that all of their shiny forms use the coloration of the original versions of the Pokemon. So Galarian Articuno shiny form is standard Articuno's light blue colour, and honestly, I love the shiny versions of these Pokemon. I think I prefer the shiny colorations to the regular colorations, but they're just really cool designs.
I like both, but I will say what does suck about that is the fact that in-game they're shiny locked.
Oh.
So you can't actually get them. I imagine they're just holding off for like maybe an event later down the line where they'll give away shiny versions or something.
Maybe.
That has been a trend that Pokemon has always done, in that even if a Pokemon is shiny locked in game, it will have a shiny variant anyway as a placeholder. Like Zeraora, as far as I recall, the first time we could get a shiny one was the giveaway.
Well,
the earlier ones that they'd done giveaways for and whatnot were always their base colour.
well, I don't have Pokemon Go, so I didn't get that shiny Zeraora, so rub it in my face, why don't you, Flame?
Well, I don't have Go, I haven't. It's Home that they did it, and like that, I think I bitched about that in our Isle of Armor LP, but that was fucking bullshit. The fact that you needed the phone version of Home. That's the bit that I think is bullshit, because like, I'm lucky my phone can barely just about run it. I have a very old smartphone which doesn't run most stuff. Like, the fact that they have a Pokemon Home app on the Switch, which is the one that would make sense for them to promote because it's on the same system as the games that they're trying to convince you to buy. that is literal bullshit, you know. Right.
It's not as bullshit as the Pokemon Company still running giveaways out in a physical location and not through mystery gift during the middle of a fucking pandemic.
That was incredible. Like, the whole how you have to go to this particular shop to get it has been bullshit since day one, but now, especially given we have fucking wireless connections at home and that, I'm curious how much, like, what is it, Game or whatever, are paying them for these things?
Well, here's the thing, is that I don't know what the hell's occurred in that situation, because when you look at where we're at right now, nobody in England can get that legendary, because you've got to go to the physical store to get it, but all the physical stores are shut because we're in lockdown.
No, but you see, we're allowed to go outside for urgent events like getting a Pokemon.
No, Boris, you gotta believe me, this is urgent.
Well, I mean, I suppose click and collect, it follows that, because I mean, that's how I'm getting my PS5. But like this, it's completely ridiculous and is just not reading the room in any way, shape or form.
Anyway, Moltres G, Galarian Moltres, dark and flying, here's your Eviltal. Kind of somewhat down to the coloration as well. But you gotta watch out for the Fiery Wrath. That's a run killer, I would imagine, if you did a Nuzlocke kind of thing. Because look at this shit.
Yeah, that's fucking dangerous. Like, given you're comparing it to a Yveltal, I think Yveltal are like a little bit more, but this is a really solid design in its own right. This guy, depending on whether he decides to be nice or not, he can have you chase him around the entire fucking island here. So that's one of the things where usually what I was doing in my runs, like through both of my runs, is if he got too far ahead, I'll just fly back to the dojo and start again. Because he'll come back.
Oh, speaking of the dojo and whatnot, there was a new episode of Pokemon Twilight Wings. It came out yesterday at the time we're recording this, November 18th, and, it showed off Isle of Armor, it showed off the two rivals from either version. It was basically a setup for what's coming in the next part of our playthrough, the finale of the Crown Tundra, which is pretty cool. It even had the level 80 Wailord in the background, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, that's great. How is that Twilight Wings thing? Because I watched the first couple of episodes and then never got around to watching the rest.
Well, Flame, you can watch it with me after we're done here.
We'll see.
No, you will be social. I'm dragging you into it.
I'll do a Moltres and just fly away from you.
Yeah, the Twilight Wings series, it's been really sweet. Like, it's just been a nice, solid bit of animated joy from the Pokemon universe. Whether it's sort of the highest quality or not, I don't know, but it very much reminded me of the anime stuff that they did for Black 2, White 2, and I suppose also Pokemon Generations, and the small, shorter form Pokemon anime stuff, which always seems to land better than the actual anime ever did.
Well, there's a number of factors which make the anime not as open, or, well, just not as open as the actual Twilight Wings series and other such things like Origins and Generations and so on. The anime is a product, so it has to knock out a new thing pretty much every week or so, it's very strict as opposed to the other things which can explore the world in a more free manner.
Well, to be fair, Journeys has been kind of like doing a similar sort of thing of showing off a bit of everything. Like, it's still serialised, so it does have that drawback, but it feels like they are making an effort to show off as much of the Pokemon world as they can this time around.
I still need to watch Journeys. I've heard nothing but good things.
I think, on the whole, it's quite strong. I'll say that the one thing that sort of holds it back a little bit is that they've got Go as a character promoting the Pokemon Go series, and so he's just catching Pokemon left, right and centre. And what that means is that his Pokemon on his team aren't getting as developed as Ash's Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about this before, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of a shame. And, with Ash's Pokemon as well, granted, I have only watched the ones that have been released in English so far, so it is still quite early days. The next batch is coming in December, I believe. But that, they've just gave him a Dragonite and a Riolu off the bat, and you can tell that they're building up the Riolu, which now in the Japanese series, obviously by now, has evolved into Lucario, and that's their Shieldmon for the series as well.
Right.
So I kind of feel like there's going to be a bit of favouritism going forward with which Pokemon get developed and whatnot. But that's a fair trade-off, I think, for just having a different setting each episode, and it kind of gives them a bit more leeway with their fillers. If they don't have to just have the random throwaway character of the day, they can make them a little bit more distinct from one another.
Alright, we got Articuno in the Crown Tundra, we got Moltres in the Isle of Armor, so I guess all that leaves is one last Pokemon. And that is the big-ass KFC-avoiding Galarian Zapdos, who is in the original wild area, the most boring of the wild areas. But first, gonna pay a visit to the dojo here, because I have some what's left over, I believe.
Although, obviously, restore your Pokemon first, because it's kind of a little bit important. You got your ass mostly handed to you during that fight, but...
I told you, man, Moltres G is nothing to fuck with.
Definitely. But yeah, this is so one of the things that is also quite funny with the Galarian versions of the birds is that Galarian Articuno can be frozen, Galarian Moltres can be burned, and Galarian Zapdos can be paralysed.
No.
Which, I mean, when you see it, it's just like, no, this is cursed. I hate this. What is wrong?
God, that's gonna fuck with you even more whenever the shiny versions become available, isn't it? Because they look like the original forms.
Yes, good for my wallet indeed. Man, just looking at these machines. Flame, you showed me the other day a trading card vending machine which had like booster boxes and whatnot. I'm like, fucking sweet, yo.
That is beautiful. Yeah, like that. I assume that's in Japan. I just saw it on VP, but like the fact is that they've got all the individual packs, the blister packs. They've got some of the like special collections they do. You just put your money in it, dispenses it. Like that is so fucking cool.
Anywho, enough shilling, enough talking about merch. The final Pokemon of the legendary bird trio is within our grasp. There he is. Don't you run! Ah, fuck, he's running.
This is my favourite one to chase after, just because look at this. He's trying to outrun us. It's great.
Well, I think out of all three of the birds, Zapdos G best represents what it should be like to hunt down a legendary in a 3D world. Because look at this, we're having to outsmart, we're having to think ahead. Granted, he runs on like a set track and whatnot, but he can like double back, and we've basically got to cut him off here. And he can get tired, but you still have to think ahead because he's always going to be moving a lot faster than you. And son of a goddamn whore!
Fuck the Zapdos. I'm here for stuff.
Whatever. You're a legendary in your own right, I suppose.
Now, so you can, try and outsmart Zapdos, but actually, what is wow. But the easiest tactic to go with is just to chase him down regularly and boost whenever you can, and eventually you will catch up with him, because he does have his moments where he slows down, and I don't know, I suppose it's sort of one of those slight rubber bandy things. The longer you sort of chase it, the easier it is to catch up to it. But it's very much in line with like the Galarian Slowpokes. And I suppose the Galarian Slowpokes in the Isle of Armor were a tester to see whether Galarian Zapdos would work.
Yeah, now that I think about it, you might be right.
Maybe it could be like an experiment for a new encounter type going forward, because it would be cool to see some more like chase sequences like this. Like, granted, maybe it is a little bit degrading, the fact that we're just chasing after this legendary beast like as a kid on a bike. But it is cool.
Well, I'm not sorry at the fucking hedgehog. I need some sort of transportation in order to catch the frigga.
Fair.
Come here, I sees you.
In your own time.
Oh, you fucker. Yeah, got him.
Got there in the end.
He wasn't getting distracted by stuff all the time, so he had that advantage.
Yeah, I suppose he did, Flame. I suppose he did. So, Galarian Zapdos. Let me look up his typing here. I believe just off the top of my head, it is fighting and flying, but let me confirm it just here. Yep, fighting and flying. Is that a Horlucha's thing, or was that flying and fighting?
That was fighting flying as well, I believe. I don't know if this guy learns fly and press though.
Would probably doubt it, but considering it has that move, I don't think you probably need to worry about that.
No, like, it is pretty well equipped in its own right.
Let's have a look. Thunderous Kick is its signature move. It learns close combat at level 65 and reversal at 70.
Yeah, alright, well, he's demonstrating reversal here by kicking the shit out of your Regice.
Jesus, so it is, mate. Yeah, get ready for a repeat of that in the upcoming tournament.
Yeah, it was kind of a slightly foolish move to throw your ice type out against a fighting type, considering it is super weak to it, but you still caught the Zapdos, so it's all good in the end.
Well, I was playing mind games with it, was the thing.
Okay, yeah, totally.
To be fair, with these long-winded legendary battles, you throw out whatever the fuck you got.
Yeah, I was kind of zoned out by the end, to be perfectly honest. Oh, there you go. It got its name from the sound that it makes.
Aww.
Okay, so does this mean this was the original Zapdos?
Huh.
Because, like, if this is the one that it was like given the name for? Does this mean we knew about this Zapdos and then people in Kanto saw one that looked similar and thought, oh, that must be a Zapdos too? Because we are going to get some fun when we show him off to Peony. Because he has a similar sort of mindset of, close enough.
Yeah, you know what, this is fine. Alright, Cinder, you go back in first slot. You both fainted, but that's fine. There's a rest here at the Freeze Inn, whose name I still love.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm absolutely going to change my outfit after this, because we're going to get something a bit more grand, shall we say, for completing these quests.
That's one way to put it, yeah.
Oh god, Tom, you're not.
Oh, I am, Richie, I am.
You gotta show up to the final event in style.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't have to be a good style, but it's still a style.
Just a style, yes.
I would say that outfit that we're talking about is less embarrassing than them fucking shoes Tom had toward the end of the main game.
I can't even recall those, I'm going to be perfectly honest, mate.
Neither can I.
That's for the best.
Yes, Moltres of Legend. It's not really all that hot to the touch, though.
I mean, it still technically does have a fire attack. It's not fire type.
I kind of like how they changed the type, but still gave them a move that, you know, puts you in mind of their original typing, like Thunderous Kick, Fiery Wrath, and whatever Articuno G's was.
Freezing Glare.
Freezing Glare, there you go.
It is good. It's consistent theming when they could have just changed them entirely, but I like what they've done here. Like I said, the legendary birds here are excellent designs. They're some of my favourite regional forms, and I would like to see this becoming a trend now of having variants of the legendaries, like regional variants, because I feel like it's one of the things of there's always going to be new legendaries with each game, but I feel like the more of them you add, kind of the less special they become. Whereas having this, like, I know this is very much a subjective sort of your own personal interpretation thing, but having these variants of existing legends, it kind of maintains their legendary feel that they have to them, without oversaturating them by adding new ones. And
also, it's the whole idea of you. For those of us who have been with the franchise for a while, majority of its run, if not all of it, you kind of just get that joy of seeing something you know in a different format. It's just quite exciting.
Like, I know there is the argument, the fact that they've chosen the birds in particular. I know a lot of people aren't happy with the Kanto pandering in this game, but I feel like as a foundation, the first time they do this as a concept, that was pretty much inevitable. I would like to see some of the later legends get regional forms in future games, though. Although saying that, I could also see Mewtwo getting a variant, given it's man-made and you could have it made in a different context, which could be kind of cool.
Yeah, it could be anything, even female. The choices are endless.
Well, didn't it have a woman's voice in, like, one of the black and white films?
Well, it was a female Mewtwo, it was a different one entirely.
Well, like, we'll say that Mewtwo is technically genderless, but...
Well, I don't give a fuck, Flame. It spoke like a woman, okay? So everyone refers to it as female Mewtwo.
Okay.
She's just been having it out with Max Adventures, Dynamaxing and all that shit, while I've been off capturing legendaries and whatnot. Surely that would be more interesting.
Yeah, but also she's just like... Oh, I'm just gonna swan in. Oh, this is alright. Oh, and thanks for keeping Dad company. And you know what? I might actually, want to go on this tour now. It's like, well, bit late, Doc.
Yeah, maybe I can make up some regionals. Let's paint this Psyduck green. It's a grass Galarian Psyduck.
Well, they did have a shiny Psyduck in a recent Journeys episode, so...
Oh, okay.
No, that one's blue, but that was kind of cool because he was owned by a guy who is obsessed with shiny Pokemon. And so that was why they met up with the guy. He was out in one of the Unova tombs looking for shiny Pokemon, and that's where the Go Lurk episode took place.
Okay, oh my god, it's the fucking sun.
What were you out here catching on your adventure? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, maybe give this to HFC over there. I think they'd wear it better, yes. They even managed to slip these two into the recent Twilight Wings episode, which I was kind of surprised of. I guess the animation team must just have been given information, or at least like character, bios and whatnot as they were developing it.
Yeah, that's cool. I feel like it is designed as an accompaniment piece to Sword and Shield, so it makes sense for them to have little nods to it wherever they can.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Peony. Oh, Peony. I'm always smiling. There's nothing going on behind those eyes.
I'm sorry your daughter's a bit of a bitch.
You know what? Let's just leave it there. I think that's
Look
fine.
at the way she treats her dad, come on.
Well, he's an overbearing prick, so...
Yeah, but he's not a prick. He's just he cares too much.
Sometimes that's all you need to be a prick. Alright guys, that's the legendary stuff down in the Crown Tundra. Join us next time for a bit of something special and the finale of the Crown Tundra. See you then.